Hi. So today we're going to talk about the books I'm going to read throughout the month of September. Although I'm going to read, I've chosen 5 books to read. Although I may read more, but what I'm going to try to do in the next few months is to read older books. So books set usually published in the 80s or 70s or before, and not counting with October, which is going to be our centered. My goal is going to be here reading books from one horror, one sci-fi, one fantasy, and another miscellanea, and I'm going to talk about October, November, December as the months to go on. I have not decided. I have some in my mind, but I'm not decided. So let's start with the books from this month of September. The first one I'm going to read is Paul Anderson, Three Hearts and Three Lions. This is a sci-fi masterwork novel. This one was published back in 58, I believe. No, 53. Paul Anderson then copyright in 61, so I don't know. Probably it was done from as usually in the 60s, 70s they do it. It's like published chapter by chapter in the magazine, something like that. You then publish a novel. So this one is going to be the fantasy book I'm going to read, and let me just read the back cover so you to know something about it. It says the forces of the dark powers are gathering, threatening the world of man. The legions of the fairy, dragon, elven warriors, trolls, demons, and the wild hunt are poised to vanquish the powers of light. Only the legendary Knight of Three Hearts and Three Lions can stand against the mighty armies of chaos, and he is Holger Karlsson, a man snatched out of his time with only a vague prophecy, a quarrelsome dwarf, and a beautiful woman who can turn herself into a swan on his side. Glorious entertainings, Three Hearts and Three Lions is a fantasy classic of the highest order. One thing I must say is that this was published before Lord of the Rings, so there are, I don't know. I'm going to read more about this book later to try to understand where does it stand within the Lord of the Rings and so on. So the publication was Fantasy Masterworks from the number 40. This was like a series that is ongoing, if I'm not mistaken, but different. They publish sci-fi, and then there is another one which is called Fantasy Masterworks, and sometimes in between. This is my first book, so the fantasy one. In terms of sci-fi, I'm going to read this Full Society edition, which is Roadside Picnic. It's a book by Arkady and Boris Turgatsky. They are two Russian authors. They publish a lot of works. It has a foreword by Ursula Le Guin. It's afterwards by Boris, which is the one that is alive, because I believe the other one, the brother, died. And this book is very beautiful with a lot of illustrations. And since it was one of the books that I was more keen to read, and in terms of sci-fi, I purchased it. So basically, yeah, it's a very beautiful book. Okay, as you can see here, very good illustrations with spray edges and so on. And it's one of the most interesting books in terms of sci-fi that came out of the URSSR, and so yeah, there are some afterwards and so on. So yeah, I'm very interested to check this out. It's not that big, 200 pages. It looks bigger because it's art book and with a slipcase. It's going to be my first reading of a Follow Society novel. And then in terms of fantasy, the horror, I've got two. Okay, and the reason I got two because the books are very small. Okay, those books are 400 pages at most together. So the first one is going to be this one. This is Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes, which looks very, very interesting. It's a mix of, although it's Fantasy Masterworks number 49, it's also horror, so it's a mixed stuff. And the reason I'm writing this as well is because there is a Follow Society novel, and I want to check if I'm going to grab it or not. So, what is the synopsis about this book? It was just after midnight when the Carnival train bringing Cougar and the Dark Pandemonium Shadow Show to Greentown, Illinois, announced its arrival. The engine's whistle shrieking, the show's steam organ playing. For two young friends, Jim Nightshade and Will Holloway, the siren call of the Carnival is irresistible. But these are not. But these are no ordinary sideshows, no ordinary maze and mirrors. In Ray Bradbury's incomparable masterpiece, the Shadows Show has come to destroy every life it touches with sinister mystery. So yeah, this book is also quite short, 260 pages. So that's it. And the last one, this one is true horror. Is this one? This is Flowers in the Attic by Virginia Andrews. This was published again in the 80s, like all of others in the 70s and so on. This one is a bit bigger, quite 420 pages, and this was published by Virginia Andrews, as I said. You may know the name because there are like 100 books published by V.C. Andrews, which is like a pseudonym. Virginia Andrews only wrote 5 novels in this series. It's a Dollaganger series, which is Flower in the Attic, Petals in the Wind, If There Be Thorns, Seeds of Yesterday, and Garden of Shadows. Then there are more 5, I believe, in this series were published by that pseudonym. I don't know if I'm going to read those. These ones are the ones I'm interesting. So let's see. What can I say about this novel? So Chris, Kathy, Corey, and Carrie, okay, all C's, have perfect lives until a tragic accident changed everything. Now they must wait, hidden from view, in their grandparents' attic, as their mother tries to figure it out what to do next. But as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, the siblings endure unspeakable horrors and face the terrifying realization that they might not be let out of the attic after all. So yeah, so this is the book. This book, some people talk about it, light horror from the 80s. So let's see. And the last but not least, it's the one that I said it's going to be like. Not or can be one fantasy or whatever, but I've been hearing a lot of this in this book. I even the movie, I've seen it like 20 years ago. I don't know, probably not 20, but around that time, which is called The Firm by John Grisham. So this is a very interesting novel. I don't remember the movie at all, so that's good. When Mitchell McDear, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the names, signed on with Bandini, Lambert, and Locke of Memphis, he thought that he and his beautiful wife Abby were on their way. The firm leased him a BMW, paid off his school loans, arranged a mortgage, and hired him a decorator. Mitch McDear should have remembered what his brother Ray, doing 15 years in Tennessee jail, already knew. You never get nothing for nothing. Now the FBI has the lowdown on Mitch's firm and needs his help. Mitch is caught between a rock and a hard place with no choice if he wants to live. So, mighty interesting, thriller stuff. So, yeah, let's see. Probably I'm going to do that. Not in October, but in November and December, I'm going to read one fantasy, one horror, one sci-fi, and one thriller. when thriller can be anything. Okay, in terms of thriller, it can be like adventure thriller or spy thriller or this kind of thriller, legal thriller, whatever. It's going to be a thriller. Yeah, so that's it from me. These 5 books that I'm going to read. They are not these. All of them are combined are probably 1,000 pages, and one. I believe they are 1,500 pages. I usually read more. Let's see. But my goal is to go slowly, read, don't be stressed out, and because I'm the last few months I'm not enjoying books as much as I used to, and sometimes I'm reading a novel. For example, I'm currently finishing Ghost Maker by Dan Habit, and I'm enjoying the book immensely. I want to start next book, but then something I might say is okay, but you have the other book to read, and I have to purchase the other one. And my mind is very confused at this moment. I'm buying more. I don't know why. I can't control myself. I'm trying, but I'm not. I don't know what to do for now. I'm buying too much. Let's see if I can control this in a couple of next months. So read at my leisure, not having goals. Okay, so yeah, it's a short goal. 5 books, nothing major. 50 pages per day, nothing major. But not thinking I have to read 10 books, and this is destroying me inside. And until the end of the year, I'm going to try to make something out of my mind. It's something that I'm struggling with. Let's see what I can do. I'm sorry for this. Thank you all for listening and to seeing this video. I really hope you enjoy what I do, and please ask me something if you wish. Thank you.